All set to welcome yet another guest from Wizard World Comic Con here in Des Moines for the next 3 days. 25 to 30,000 people now expected to go to the event, and we have an artist with us here. Comic book and commercial artist Neal Adams joins us here, and he's responsible basically for the look, the more current look of, say, Batman and Superman, Green Arrow.
Yes, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow, one of them as well.
We call that television show the Neal Adams Show.
Then, oh, do they? Okay.
Oh, good for you. All the way across.
Absolutely.
So, obviously,
they've even borrowed Ra's al Ghul from Batman to put on that show.
How about that?
And we created, Danny O'Neill, the writer of this, and myself created Ra's al Ghul. Do we know what it meant when we were told we were going to use that name? No, but it does mean head of the demon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, head of the demon.
Really?
Things that you learn.
You learn.
Well, you started drawing a long time ago, and you didn't just fall into this. You had to earn it. You had to work your way into this, didn't you?
There was a bad time in America where Congress had attacked comic books and implied that they were, bad for kids, like rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I remember.
And it was on television, and it just seemed like comic books were going to go away. But they held on, and they held on for a couple of decades, and suddenly the rest of the world, which was comic book savvy, started to tell America, gee, you guys created comic books. You guys created Superman. What's wrong with you people? We finally realized, yeah, I guess we were wrong attacking comic books. We had better get on the ball because we are the best. We are the best comic book producers in the world. And now all the European and the Japanese and the Filipino artists come to America to draw comic books. We are the world hub for comic book related stuff. Think of how it affects movies, television, computer games.
Oh, I forgot about the games.
You can go to a movie and you can say, well, at least this isn't a comic book movie, and at the end it says based on a graphic novel by so-and-so. It happens all the time.
All the time.
I don't like to say it, but we're taking over the world, and I think we're starting with Des Moines.
That would be a good start.
How did you get into this? Like, did you, as a young kid, were you doodling?
I doodled. Well, of course I drew. Comic book artists are crazy.
Good to know. Thank you.
To understand. And then as you get older, you get out of crazy and start to become a citizen. But at the beginning, you're a geek and you're weird and you're strange. And then you comb your hair, brush your teeth, and then you start to become a human. We don't start as humans. We start as these strange little alien creatures with glasses, and we're going around comic book shops and buying comic books and looking at the dates and wondering what they are. And is this issue number 5? Is this issue number 5? I don't know. What is it selling for? 12 cents. Oh my God.
So what was your inspiration? Like, what did you used to read or watch, and that just totally inspired you?
Just to draw.
Anything.
To draw. But where's the best place in the world to draw? Comic books. I know old people say illustration or animation, but comic books are the best. I can draw a comic book in 1 month that you can make $100 million movie with, and then next month I can make another comic book. Think about that.
Yeah.
Now, how
I get to do that, and they give me money.
Now, when you're drawing, here's the question for you: when you're drawing these comic books, do you have to come up with the storyline as well as the artwork for it, or do you just build the artwork and then they build the story around?
No, that would be a pretty hard one.
Yeah.
Let's make a movie and then we'll write it. No, it probably does not that way. You get a script just like you do a movie.
So you get a script. Okay. So you don't have to come up with that idea.
Well, I can't have to. We like to come up with those ideas.
Yeah.
That's what we do. I like to write and I like to draw, but every once in a while I work with a writer. In this case, Batman, Ra's al Ghul, if I can just show it.
Yeah, go for it.
Show it up right here.
Hang it up. There you go.
There we go. The game we play on this one,
there you go.
Of course, is how many pairs of pants does Batman have in this picture? Apparently, he has 2.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, you have to have a change.
Well, not only that, he'd be naked otherwise.
That's true. You can't
That's
show
just
that.
not good. Yeah.
Then we did. Then we have these kinds of things. Spider-Man. You have that.
What's your favorite to draw?
I have to say Batman.
Batman. Why?
He's like drawing 2 characters: Batman and his cape.
Really?
His cape, you consider a character?
Oh yeah, because when I was a young man and I used to watch Hammer films. Remember Hammer films? The actor who just died recently, Christopher Lee.
Yesterday.
Very, very sad. He played Dracula in the Hammer films, and he was on top of a castle in the movie, and he was looking at a carriage going away, and he spun around, and before he spun around, he made this little move like this, and then he spun around, and his cape, which went to his feet, spun around and followed him, and he walked off the parapet, and I thought, Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. The guy obviously rehearses with the cape.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that it moves properly.
He had to have.
Doesn't Batman do that? Of course he does. He has to rehearse with the cape. Otherwise, he's going to run into the cape all the time.
Never thought of that.
Here's Bruce Wayne, you know. Alfred comes in, and Bruce Wayne's going, I'm rehearsing with the cape, Alfred. You got to leave me alone for a while. I'm just saying that you don't think about those things, but as artists, we get to think about those things. And so we get to do these things that nobody else gets to think about. I studied illustration. In illustration, you take photographs and you make paintings of them. In comic books, you draw. And then they give you money.
It's a great world.
It's a great thing.
Think about it.
Do you have a particular comic or storyline that you worked on that you were like, this is
I'll
the
give you
best?
an idea. This one here, if you're interested, I can show that to you.
Yeah.
This
Green Lantern, okay.
There you go. Straight ahead. There you
This
go.
guy right here.
That is, we had a comics code. The government and the companies enforced a self-enforced comics code on the comic books. So pretty soon we were doing Pat Boone comic books. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Sugar and Spike
Right,
and Mr.
right.
District Attorney comic books.
Right.
Well, this kind of cracked the comics code. This is about heroin addiction, which we needed to talk about in comic books, and were forbidden. And once this happened, everybody realized, no, it's an adult medium as well as a children's medium, and you have to do comic books for everybody. And that one, that's the cover for it.
That's the cover?
That broke it.
What
You're
year
gonna
was
see-
this?
Now you're asking me a question I don't remember because I'm a geek. I'm just saying, I don't remember that stuff. That's a geek question.
Why do you enjoy being on this tour, the Wizard World Tour?
Oh, the Wizard. Look at, we come into a town. Let me just say this. We come into this town. The Wizard people came into this town, and folks from this town met them in a hearse.
What's the only car we had left?
And then they took them to a funeral for a Walking Dead character to celebrate them coming into town.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What a welcome.
Yeah.
What a welcome. I don't think I'm going to get greeted with a hearse, but I'd love it. I'm just saying that you go, some towns you go to, it's okay, you know, comic book conventions. Some towns you go to, they love it. They love it. They haven't had it here before.
Right.
And they've had small one-day conventions in small areas. And, you know, it's great. And those same people are the people who are gung-ho to have this convention because they know actors are coming. William Shatner is coming. I don't even know how tall William Shatner is. I had to check him out.
No, people have seen him do commercials in Des Moines for years.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You get to see, well, you have these people, you've had the people on TV today. These people are going to be there, and you get to shake their hand. You go and take when I grew up, it was Cary Grant and, you know, all those guys. You never got to see those people. You could never shake take a photograph with them. Never happened. You can do that here. Take a photograph. You can come up to my booth, buy a print or buy a bunch of prints. I encourage that very much.
I heard they're pretty good.
And come and shake hands and talk about comic books, and I'm delighted to do it. The reason for that is because we never got to do it. When I started in comic books, people send mimeograph newsletters to one another, the geeks around the country. Now we have conventions. Now we get to go and
Now,
meet
do you have
people.
hero cards like this that you'll sign?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We have everything it's a booth. And then we have toys.
I can't wait to see this.
We have games, we have videos, we have cosplay. This is the new thing, cosplay. People come as if it were Halloween in costumes of their superheroes or Walking Dead or whatever by the hundreds, and they walk around and allow people to take photographs of them, and they talk about their latest characters. They're part of it, but they are part of the comic book convention milieu, and I'm sorry to use a word like that. I really apologize. I know here in the Midwest we can't do that.
Do you still illustrate? Do you still work?
Oh, of course.
Besides going out and meeting people and
People
saying,
give me money.
people are giving me money at work.
Why would I stop? That would be insane.
Neal Adams, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
Great job. Great stuff.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you check
Thank
them
you
out
so
this
much.
weekend. We'll be back. The revolving door continues to spin when we come back to Great Day.